Hi everyone, welcome to Hue at Home. I'm Tracy Koga. Today it's all about the music. We celebrate the brand new album released by Andrea Ramolo, Quarantine Dream, and then find out what a real music producer does with Wayfie, an up-and-coming star in Vancouver. So for now, I sit down with Andrea, we talk about all things about the album and power to the females in the music industry. Well, it has been such a long time, but I want to say it's so good to see you, Andrea, and it's so exciting that through all of this now, you've got a brand new album and some incredible songs. So I know, well, let's go right to it. Your whole journey, I guess, in creating this album, Quarantine Dream. Talk about it.
Well, nice to see you too, Tracy. I was excited to hear that I was going to have another interview with you because it's been a while since I've been back, even in your province. Quarantine Dream, I think that for me as an artist, it's like a blessing and a curse because I don't write every day, but when a catastrophe or some sort of pivotal like life moment happens, songs just kind of pour out of me really quickly. And so that's what happened with this record. The pandemic hit immediately, and I was a vehicle for songwriting, and I think I just needed to process it emotionally, and also to use my music to reach out to other people. So the entire record was written and recorded mostly during lockdown. There were a few moments when the lockdown was lifted, and so I got to go over to my producer, Sarah McDougall's home in London, Ontario, and we tracked a little bit, the two of us. But it was so interesting and so challenging to do the entire record remotely. Right, hiring, I had a bunch of musicians across the country contribute and record their own pieces. I had Coldplay's violin string arranger in Denmark send over his string section. So everyone was it was like a Frankenstein, but it turned out to be really, really beautiful. So I'm happy, definitely lucky that all the pros, contributed and they knew what they were doing, and it just felt like we were connected somehow.
Yeah, and it's all about that connection. I mean, I guess now that you've gone through the process, do you see this continuing?
I really do, because now we know that we can, you know what I mean? And I feel like there are definitely highlights. For example, I wrote two of the songs on the record with two different sets of women. One was a band called Madison Violet, who are dear friends of mine, and they've been touring for the last 20 years together. We wrote End of Time. And then my girl Kinney Starr, who was out in BC, she lives now in Haida. Her and I wrote a tune, the last tune on the record, which is one of my favorites, Free, with our other friend Hill Corcoides, and we did it all over Zoom. We used these new tactics, these new methods of communicating. And now if I want to write with a friend who, is on a different time zone or lives in a different country, we don't need to take a flight and get together. We can do it this way. And I mean, it's missing a few nuances for sure. Like I would have loved to give those ladies a hug and hang out and have a nice, glass with them and cheers and whatnot. But anyways, it was very cool. So we know we can do it. I think we figured out and brainstormed and got creative with how to survive, especially as creatives. How do we make this work when our industry is almost shut down? So it was a beautiful thing for sure.
And I want to say too that something like 90% of the people working on this album were female. So power to all the women. And
yeah,
and like you said it, now you can do it, right?
Now we know we can do it. And also, you know what? It made me really stop and think. I think a lot of people got quiet during the pandemic because we were kind of forced to be quiet, right? We were alone. And it made me realize, I've always been fighting for change and fighting for human rights and justice. And these are things that are important to me. I'm passionate about various issues that show up on my record in these songs. And having more women spearhead projects, lead projects in the music industry is a huge goal for us. And we've been fighting for it and we've been talking about it. But finally, I was like, well, I need to also be the change. Like I need to hire these women. And if it just takes a little longer because I need to do more research because they're not coming out of the woodwork because it's been a man's world for so long. You know what I mean? So it's easy to say, oh, my best friend, she just recorded her album with this dude. I'm going to hire him. Yeah. So it's easy because it's word of mouth. But I did the research, and I'm so glad I did. I had Lisa Pang sang master it. She's out in Vancouver. She's on tour with the Zolas right now. She's amazing. Sarah McDougall mixed, engineered, and produced it, right? And then we had Catherine Calder from the New Pornographers. She played piano on it. Again, Madison Violet, Kinney, they're all featured guests. And of course, you know, I did hire some male musicians as well because I love working with all human beings, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone in a leadership role, including all my film directors for all the music videos, were all women. So it was a really, really special record. It was a really special creative process. I think it's definitely my favorite to date. And it feels more like me. And we got to, because it was a collaboration between women. And I love collaborating, you know? So yeah, I can't wait for people to hear it. And I can't wait to get out your way in real life.
Yes. And I mean, okay, so for all of the female artists out there, just contact Andrea and she'll give you the names of all of the leads that she, because you know what, and just to kind of make that point again, yes, it is a male world, like, or a male dominated music industry still. After all these years and after everything that has happened, you're right, the key people, the go-to.
Well, we're pushing for it and we're vocal and we have been for years, but still you look at festival lineups right across the country and sure you're seeing some female names now, but predominantly they're cis men, right? And they're and not only from the leads, but like all the musicians involved in the bands, the people doing sound and whatnot. So we really need to create space for women to feel like they have these opportunities, you know, because they haven't been given as many. And that's all about creating space. And it really starts with us. So ladies out there, women, all my non-binary friends too, if you're making records, do the research, spend the time to see which female or non-binary artists are creating, are spearheading, are producing in your area and hire them because they're just gonna get that much more experience when we do hire them. And then they're going to be at the forefront and they're going to be that name that everyone's talking about so that they're an easy hire, you know?
Well, you know what? It'll be so exciting to be part of that change, and it's about us too, right? We always put barriers on ourselves, saying, "Well, no, I can't do sound," or you know, that's a guy's job, or you know, even setting up speakers, or you know, setting the stage, and you know,
it's infiltrated in this patriarchal system, which like needs to be shattered, and you know, we need to restructure, right? And this is what we're doing now. I think this is what we're doing on many levels. You know, and beyond just the women thing, you know, Free is the last song on the record.
Yes.
And the song I'm about to play for you today, Quarantine Dream, these two songs really speak to the patriarchy and the injustice that continues to prevail, communities that are suffering at the hands of, you know, white supremacy, at the hands of colonization, the environment. We're letting our world slip away. We really are. We're not treating our planet with love and respect. And these are things like we need to work together because we are so much more connected than I feel like many of us believe we are. And the minute that you realize that I am you and you're me and we are sharing this space together on this planet, it's like, okay, then, you know, we pull up our socks and we get to work. But you can't do the work if you're ignoring all the stuff that's going on just because it might not be happening to you in your own little bubble, right? And then and that means that you're not realizing how connected we are. So those two songs are really important to me, especially right now with what's going on over in the Wet'suwet'en territory with our land defenders. You know, they're so brave. I wanted to make sure that I'm singing for them today because I can't be out there standing with them. But I mean, like, they are protecting our waters and our earth and fighting to make sure that, you know, for generations to come, we have a place that our children and our grandchildren can actually grow up and live. And if people can't see that, like, it's just like, you want a pipeline? You want big business corporation money? It's all about greed and selfishness. And it's like, we need to lead with our hearts. We need to lead with love, or else we're going to destroy ourselves. So, not to be dire, but these are the truths, really. We have to talk about them.
I know, and then just quickly too, I want to talk about, you know, your own personal, I guess, struggles too during all of this and moving forward, and how mental health and wellness is so important. And I know that isolation and separation have been hard on a lot of people. And you know, you're gifted because you have the gift of music to write, but then there are so many others, right, that don't have that. And
honestly, I was so worried. I mean, definitely suffered and struggled, and I was so worried for people who didn't have an outlet. I thought about them constantly through this whole pandemic, you know, or who are in, you know, tough relationships and they were stuck indoors. I mean, there are so many struggles that probably unfolded, right? So many hardships during this time. For me, you know, without my music and without my family, even though they were at a distance, it would have been a lot harder. So I'm so grateful. There are some tough songs on the record for sure. Carousel, you know, it was a song I wrote in 10 minutes, but it was written during a really sort of pivotal moment where it's like, you know, I felt like my loneliness was gonna swallow me up. Like I felt like I was about to disappear because you're so disconnected from other human beings. You're so alone. And all of the things like needing to feel like you're part of a community, they don't exist for you. And so who are we if we're not in relation to one another? And I seriously felt myself slipping away. So that was a very scary moment in the process of writing the record. But again, you look back and you listen to the song and you're like, we made it through. You know, if we're listening, that means that we got through that moment. And then being a woman and being a woman who's wanted to have a child in my life, you know, that just didn't work out for me. I mean, I won't say never because I'm, you know, still probably maybe have a couple of biological years. But, you know, the pandemic sort of, you know, prolonged that goal or that dream from maybe being achieved, right? So it was a tough song to write and I'd been pushing it off for years. And I just sat down and I had to write it. I had to write it for myself. It was really therapeutic. It's called Morning Glory, and it's basically a love letter, a lullaby to my unborn child, to, you know, the one that I never got to have. So, but I mean, I realized during this pandemic, love finds us in other ways too, maybe not the ways that we thought it might. So if you watch the video for free that Kinney and I directed, because she was over in Haida with then 8-year-old Emily Ann Pitwanaquit, who is an incredible, she's become like my daughter. She's family to me now, but she's a hoop dancer, a young Indigenous hoop dancer, who is the brightest, most beautiful, talented, soulful young lady I've ever gotten to meet. And we connected instantly. It was like we had known each other in a past life. And so it's interesting because she came into my life after I wrote Morning Glory. And I was like, you know what? I get to kind of live that maternal love in another way, just because she's not my you know, my blood. She feels like family, and it's so beautiful to have her in my life. So actually, I just gave her a guitar lesson yesterday. I went over to visit them, and so cute. So she's in the video, and she helped us direct it at 8 years old. Just an astonishing young woman. I hope everyone checks out that video for sure.
Okay, well, Andrea, it's been so wonderful, and the next one, definitely we'll see you back here in Winnipeg and performing, and you know, live performance. You can't beat it, but you know, for now we will enjoy you virtually. So you're going to do Quarantine Dream, and we'll do a little adjustment on your mic. And thank you again. It's been so much fun. And congratulations. Quarantine Dream, Andrea Ramolo, her new album, and take it away, Andrea.
Thank you. Is that okay for volume?
Yeah.
It's been hard losing sleep, making peace with it, watching fires burn our broken skies apart. In the mornings I wake with the fear of it, hoping that we learn to let go, to start all over. I can't sleep anymore. We've seen bombs flying, mothers crying, babies dying. We watch greed take over everything we love. Still we climb higher, quarantine dream where you're here with me, and we push through the pain of the last few centuries. Quarantine dream where everybody is free now, and we lead with that fierce love, that fierce love. Sand is slipping through the hourglass, there's no stopping it, and the days are getting shorter now and cold. I can still remember when you kissed me last September. It's those memories that keep me from getting old. I can't sleep anymore. There's so much beauty to be living for. This is my quarantine dream where you're here with me, and we push through the pain of the last few centuries. Quarantine dream where everybody is free now, and we lead with that fierce love, that fierce love. I don't want to believe it anymore. We can make this life worth living for. This is my quarantine dream where you're here with me, and we lead with that fierce love, that fierce love. Lead with that fierce love, that fierce love. Lead with that fierce love, that fierce love.
So the Hive is a climbing and fitness facility, so we're bouldering only, which means no ropes or harnesses. We use mats for protection. But the four pillars of our business are climbing, education, health and wellness, and community, and those aspects all kind of come together to create like a 5-star climbing experience.
Welcome back to Hue at Home. Coming up next, I sit down with Nathan Chiu, known as Wayfie, and he also is a music producer, songwriter, and artist. Well, Nathan, or Wayfie, music producer, artist, songwriter, you have so many different things to choose from, but anyways, welcome to Hue at Home. Now, Nathan Chiu, known as Wayfie, he is a music producer, but he is also now a songwriter and an artist in all shapes and forms. So first of all, Nathan, most of the interviews that I do are with singer-songwriters. So, you know, it's songs right from the heart, like ground zero. As a music producer, what are your roles, and when do you come into the whole songwriting process?
Wow, yeah. As a music producer, it's interesting because there's many different like approaches when it comes to producing a song. A more modern approach is where like a producer will create something and then like an artist might actually come in after the fact and write, or like what's known as top line on what the producers created, like the instrumental backing. But I guess the more classical role of the producer is to essentially take what the songwriters and the artists have created as the song and really just hold it up for the rest of the world to see by supporting it with additional musical elements, whether that be like instruments or sounds or really anything else that's not just the lyrics and the melody.
Well, and you definitely obviously have a good ear for this, and we were talking a little bit about your education, but I'm curious, like, were you always interested in sounds and music even as a child?
Yeah.
A big nod, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I didn't really recognize how much access at an early age I had to just even the foundational concepts that underlie a lot of what I do today. Like I remember I have three older siblings. The one who's older than me is like 13 years older than me. And so I remember being really young, and he had a PlayStation 2, and on there was a game, and it was actually made by MTV, but it was like basically a digital audio workstation, which is like a tool music producers use to make music nowadays, um, on a video game console. And I remember being really young and seeing that. And anyways, from there, I think just having that kind of be a reality to me at a young age, plus always having piano and guitar and just drum set in the garage, I felt like my family was very like, they're very welcoming and supportive of just me exploring as a young person with instruments and music.
Wow. And then, of
Yeah.
course, you went to Nimbus. And let's talk about your experience there. You said it's just like a 12-month course, so it must be pretty intense. And I'm sure you probably met a lot of really interesting people too.
Yeah, no, it was well, I don't know what the state of the school is today. I think they've undergone some changes since I've been there, but when I was there, it was really a sought after place to be. I think one thing that I remember them advertising when I went with my mom and we kind of walked through the school and they gave us the tour. I think one thing they mentioned was that at the time all the teachers there had to be active in the industry in order to teach there. So for me, that was like, whoa, this is cool. I'm actually going to get to learn from people who are doing the thing that I want to do. Um, and so because of that, I think I had really like what seemed like an endless supply of like insight and knowledge and wisdom. And I think coming in with a little bit of experience, having self-taught myself like how to make beats on my computer prior, it gave me a lot of freedom to do just that, meet people and spend time networking and building relationships versus trying to necessarily hurdle over a lot of those first kind of like, oh, what is a digital audio workstation, and how does audio flow from one device to another device, like microphones and stuff.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And you've actually garnered so much recognition at such a young age. Is secret to success, or how did you do it?
Um, I mean, I don't know. I think I feel so, it's interesting you say the word success because I think we often look at the word success as like uh, like present looking back and like those are like kind of our accomplishments and those are the things we've done up to now. But I've always just looked at every day like a chance to come closer to what it is that I love, but do it in the way that the world will not like accept me, but like working in harmony with the rest of the world by doing what I love. And I think just through doing that and kind of leading by example and kind of always being true to what I love, if that makes sense. It's kind of a vague answer, but I don't really understand what success means at a general level. I think success is different to everyone. For me, it's like my success is being able to write songs with anyone I want to write songs with. And I think trying to write every day and really just learn and role model and research after people who I really look up to in this industry has taught me so much.
Yeah. And who are the artists that interest you, that, you know, say, okay, yeah, I'll work with you? What kind of artist are you looking for?
Well, as a producer, I'm not necessarily fixed on working with a specific type of artist. As an artist and a songwriter, I'm really inspired by people who kind of do the same thing as I do, people who are a little multifaceted in the sense that like they also songwrite and they also produce. Some artists that immediately come to mind are Pharrell Williams. I really like Pharrell Williams because he not only does music production, songwriting, and performs as an artist, but he also just has a really unique perspective when it comes to creativity. Another person that comes to mind is not an artist necessarily, but a producer, Rick Rubin, who's known to have worked with many artists across different genres. And I think for someone who's so deeply interested in many different styles of music and different areas of the music industry, that's always been somebody I look to for some sort of example as to how can I interact with people across many different worlds, but still maintain this sense of connection as a creative.
Oh, well, so cool. And now you've got a new single out, and we were talking too, maybe not touring, but definitely releasing singles. Is this kind of too the new way of getting your music out there, as opposed to, you know, working hard to get those special 12 songs or whatever and then release an album?
Yeah, so like it's really strange, this modern music industry. I'm kind of learning it as I go, and it's kind of changing as I learn. So, to answer your question, yeah, I think touring is something that I'm definitely open to. I don't feel I come from as much of a performer's background, so that's something I'm excited to learn more about and to practice more and to develop in as a performer. Doing shows in front of people in a room, which I hope will happen soon, but we got to kind of wait for the world to keep up with us. But yeah, making songs is kind of it's something I've been doing for what seems like a while now. And in my latest single, and I guess all the songs I've released in 2021 have been somewhat of a exploration in terms of, okay, I've given myself permission to be an artist. Now, how do I explore the different things I want to do as an artist? And how do I find who I am? And so I guess the 3 songs that I've released this year, Fairy Tale, I Just Want to See My Friends, and Call You Mine, have all kind of been me exploring that and me figuring out, all right, like where do I lie, and like what are some sounds that I definitely find can support what I have to say as a songwriter.
Well, oh, and I guess we're going to find out. You're going to do a song for us, Call You Mine?
Yes.
Story behind this one.
Call You Mine. I wish there was a little bit more of a specific story behind this one. I keep telling people it's a little fictitious, to some extent it's fictitious, but I mean, everything comes from real experiences, everything comes from real feelings. But yeah, Call You Mine is really like it's asking for a second chance. I think throughout the pandemic, people have I try to stay away from talking about the pandemic too much because no one wants to talk about the pandemic. But
But we're still in it, so hey,
so,
yeah, it's the white elephant in the room.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's a song about second chances, and it's I kind of I like to frame songs through the context of like two different perspectives. So it could be viewed as more of a romantic relationship and asking for someone's second chance in a romantic situation, like in a couple situation, or it could just be a friend. I think that's the beautiful part about writing choruses is it doesn't have to mean one thing. You know, people can take what they want from it, and I love that as a songwriter.
Well, it has been so wonderful to have a chat with you, and I can hardly wait till you can come here and go and see your show, because I think it'll be fantastic. I think it'll be a little bit of everything, which is, I think, going to be, you know, something that really will be exciting. But anyways, here's Call You Mine. Thank you, Nathan.
Awesome. Go. One heart, two sides, vacant princess. Your face feels like heaven to these eyes. I'm gone, meanwhile you'll be just fine. Would you wait for me if I tried? Would you let me into your life? Let me back on into your life? Would you let me make it right? Let me change your mind. I can make up for the lost time. Take you out onto a long drive. I just need to know if I can make me call you mine. Things feel dreamlike, being. I like the streaming from your eyes.
just fine. Would you wait for me if I tried? Could you let me into your life? Let me back on into your life. Would you let me make it right? Let me change your mind. I can make up for the lost time. Take you out onto a long drive. I just need to know if I can maybe call you mine. I've been known to fear commitment, 'cause when I had to choose, I would choose to lose all the vices if I was nicer. Would you let me into your life? Let me back on into your life. Would you let me make it right? Let me change your mind. I can make up for the lost time. Get out onto the long drive. I just need to know if I can maybe call you mine. So let me into your life. Let me back on into your life. Would you let me make it right? Let me change your mind. I can make up for the lost time. Take you out onto your drive. I just need to know if I can maybe call you mine. Girl, you know what's up. Ooh, say what, say what, say what. Girl, you know what's up. Ooh, say what, say what, say what. Girl, you know what's up. I'm digging you. I'm feeling you. Girl, you know what's up. Say I'm digging you. And I'm wanting you. Tell me what's up. Tell me what's up. Girl, you know what's up. Ooh, say what, say what, say what. Girl, you know what's up.
We want to give a very special thank you to all of our guests on today's show and leave you with this question. Who would be the first artist you would like to see perform live? We want to know, so send us an email to hello@ilikehue.com or message us on Facebook and Instagram at iLikeHue. But for now, stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you next time on Hue at Home.
Would you let me into your life? Let me back on in